Acura will be bringing the iconic NSX back, and here's everything we know so far about the upcoming return of Honda's Supercar. Hey, I'm Creech and this is Creech and Cars, where I talk about car news, history, and culture. The original NSX debuted all the way back in 1990 and went on to have a successful first production run before being discontinued in 2005. 10 years later, the NSX returned with a hybrid powertrain featuring the potent combination of a 3.5-liter twin-turbo V6 and 3 electric motors. Now, Honda is developing a third generation of the NSX and is switching up the powertrain once again, as this new NSX will be fully electric. Before we get into the details of this all-new powertrain, let's first explore how Acura will approach the exterior design this time around. While the design hasn't been officially revealed just yet, Acura has gifted us a couple of glimpses of the front end and side profile of an electric supercar that could just be the conceptual basis for this new NSX. The most prominent thing on this front end is the use of the lime green lighting that illuminates the Acura logo, a front light bar, and these two L-shaped running lights that run down the front splitter. Large fenders ride up on the low-slung roof. This can be more clearly seen from the side, where the NSX has these very pronounced, dramatic front and rear fenders that cradle the rounded glass cabin. Here's a look at an artist's rendering of what the production model could look like in the coming years. This Honda badged NSX shares the same massive wheels and fenders found on the concept, but the overall design is much more angular and really more in line with Acura's current design language, although they could be switching things up here soon. The front wing here really makes the vehicle stand out and gives it a hypercar appearance, but I feel like the squared off rear quarter panel looks a bit like something off of a GTR. There's no back window, which is an interesting look, and this rendering keeps the light bar around, although it's more simplified than the one found on the second generation. As for the interior, we don't have anything official to go off of right now, but we can take a look at the past NSX models and the all-new ZDX, which is Acura's first EV, and we can use these to try and piece together what the NSX EV's interior will be like. First, let's go back to the reveal of the second-gen NSX back in 2015, where the production interior was shown off for the first time. And while I like this interior, it's really not all that different from the rest of the interiors in Acura's lineup. Aside from these sportier touches, like the aggressive bucket seats and carbon fiber trim. Flash forward to the new ZDX's interior, and despite the drastic change in powertrain, the ZDX Type S's design still doesn't really stray very far from what we're used to seeing from Acura. On a new NSX, the major changes will likely be noticed from a software perspective, where a larger infotainment screen would protrude from the dash, and there will be a high-quality, fully digital gauge cluster with performance functions and capabilities specific to the NSX. The seats will likely be similar to the second gen, with the option for things like Alcantara inserts and unique trim materials and colors that wouldn't be available for the run-of-the-mill Acuras. Well, it's maybe not super exciting, and if you don't like Acura's sort of typical interior look, then you won't like this, but that's not too dissimilar from what we see on these other sort of bargain supercars. Namely, the GTR is one that has, in my opinion, a very unimpressive interior, and it's just really not a focus and not an area where Acura, in this case, or Nissan with the GTR, it's not an area where they want to spend time and money so that they can keep the costs low and deliver a performance car at that bargain price. But speaking of performance, Acura recently debuted the Performance EV concept at Monterey Car Week, and that was when it was officially revealed that Honda would be bringing back the NSX. Rumors have been floating around for a while, but several key figures in the company did confirm this. Also, there were a few more key details given that hinted at what the new NSX's powertrain will look like. So first of all, this Performance EV is a concept that is destined for production in late 2025. I won't go into too much detail here, but This is essentially a sports SUV, maybe not quite a super SUV like the Aston Martin DBX or Lamborghini Urus, but more around something like an X5M. The production model of the performance EV will be built at the Honda EV Hub, which is being built right now in Ohio, and that will be the first vehicle that is built there and built on Honda's new 0 Series EV platform that's currently in development. The 3rd gen NSX is then scheduled to go into production sometime around 2027 or 28, and it will presumably use that same platform, meaning Acura's future EVs may bear little resemblance to the new ZDX. Honda says that it doesn't plan on having solid-state batteries ready for this platform, but they are developing thin, lightweight battery packs that will be specifically designed to fit efficiently into the 0 Series platform. So hopefully there won't be an M5-like situation once we get the official weight for the electric NSX. This platform also allows the NSX to sit lower than previous model, but you're probably wondering more about power output, and that's a little harder to figure this early on. Reports are suggesting that Honda could continue to partner with GM as they did in developing the Prologue. Considering GM also has an electric bargain supercar in the works, it's not out of the realm of possibility for the new NSX to share many components with the upcoming electric Corvette. As for specifics, here's my estimation for now. I think the NSX will come standard with a 3-motor setup, 2 on the rear axle and 1 up front. You can expect at least 600 horsepower, if not much more. A Type S model could pack as much as 600 horsepower, maybe with the help of an additional motor up on the front axle, to where it would essentially be a motor at each wheel. I will be keeping an eye out for updates on this 3rd gen NSX, so make sure you're subscribed so you won't miss future updates. For now, here are my final thoughts on the new electric NSX. The elephant in the room here is that electrification of iconic nameplates tends to make enthusiasts upset. However, as we've seen with models like the Mustang Mach-E, this strategy doesn't mean the electrified car can't sell well. This is a little different considering the new NSX will be a performance-focused car with limited practicality and a small market appeal. Right now, it's difficult to say how the market for entry-level supercars will respond to the electrification of the NSX, as well as other models like the GTR and Gran Turismo. The success of the Rimac Nevera has shown that a proper supercar can be electric, and that model in particular has started to open enthusiasts up to EV performance cars much more. Still, this is a risky move for Acura, especially given the fact that interest in true sports cars is continuing to decline. So even if they brought back the hybrid NSX, it still might not be able to sell all that well. Acura has hinted at this model being a spiritual successor to the NSX, but maybe not retaining the NSX nameplate. That would be a way to avoid any potential controversy upon the model's release. So there's everything we know so far about the all-new upcoming 2027 Acura NSX EV, the revival of an icon, albeit in an all-new form. Let me know what you think about the electric NSX in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.